Not your average girl. Her name is Rebecca Quinn. She is the inimitable, the often imitated, never duplicated one, Becky Lynch. Hello, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, there she is. It is so great to see you. What an outfit this is.
Thank you. I nearly pulled a bicep opening that door.
It's
My goodness.
Yes, it is. You've been here before.
Yeah, I never had to open the door. Normally people open the doors for me.
Chivalry.
You know?
Joe, next time we have to open the door for...
Well, I insisted, you know. I was
you wanted to do it. Okay.
This is training. This is training for WrestleMania.
Congratulations. You brought a book too. Is this a signed copy for me?
No.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, just in case they do a close-up on me.
Oh,
so
yes, you want to have it in the shot.
Make sure I have it in the shot,
You're in very promo mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask you a question? Can I break the fourth wall for a moment? Are you exhausted talking about yourself? Because I like to consume a lot of the media, and like you've done so much media, and a lot of the same questions. It just happens that way.
Yeah.
And like I almost feel bad that you have to sit here and talk to me right now.
No,
I feel guilty.
Well, not blown. I always love talking to you.
I appreciate that.
It's never.
But it's got to be exhausting.
Is it exhausting? Like it's tiring, but it's also. There was one point where I went into replay mode, where like I was saying something and then I just said the exact same thing that I just said, and I was like, oh wow, that was a malfunction on my brain, and so like stuff like that's happening. But I don't think it's more exhausting than say running around and pretending to be a zombie like I do when I'm at home with my child. So yeah, no, I'm not too exhausted.
Okay.
I'm not too exhausted.
Is it done today, or is there? I know there's
there's 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
Well, because so I'll do this. I'll continue on, and then we go right into WrestleMania, and then that's going to be chaos.
Yes.
And then after that, then I've got more stuff out in LA. I'll go back to LA, and then I'll do that. And then it's the European tour, and so then I'll go to Europe, and then we'll do the European tour. But I will make it. I will have made it once I do that European tour because I'm going to be on the Late Late Show. Do you know what that means for an Irish woman?
I love the Late Late Show with the toy Christmas.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I watch this every year, but I know it's a weekly show on Friday nights, right?
Yeah.
And there's a new host now.
Yes.
The other guy is gone. Now, how's the new one doing?
I don't.
You don't
honestly,
know. But this is a big deal because I've seen Katie Taylor on there.
This is a big deal. This is a big deal. I'll have finally made it.
And just curious, like that is...
it felt like I finally made it when I made it on your show.
That's like a slot below this show, right? Like in terms of making it? Okay.
Well, but like to the Irish.
To the Irish, right.
My ma.
And you've never been on before?
I've never been on.
Wow.
No, we've never been able to line it up. I was really trying to get on the Late Late Toy Show. But
that is a legendary one. There's like a little kid, and then they show like the superstar shows up. Like there's one with Katie I saw one time, and the little girl wants to be a boxer, and then Katie, it's...
Amazing.
We don't have wholesome TV like you guys in Ireland. Like when I was there last year for the Katie fight, her homecoming, I'm watching TV and it's like literally what they were talking about midday. And I think I've talked to you about Joe Duffy, his radio show.
Yeah.
But this was after I saw you. They were literally, it was a woman who called into like the midday show saying that her niece went into her makeup drawer and ruined her lipstick. And they were having a panel on what she should do to the niece. This is what they're talking about midday in Ireland.
I love this.
It was incredible.
This is
it was like the most wholesome
amazing.
thing. And then I tweeted about it, and then they asked me to come on to talk about why I found this so fascinating. Like
but also, what was your solution? Did you have a solution?
Well, I just think you reprimand them, but I just, you compare that to midday television here in the United States, and that would never see the light of day. No one cares about this. It just felt very like innocent.
Yeah. Good for us.
Good for you guys.
I always wanted to sit in the crowd, though, of the Late Late Toy Show. When I was a kid, and get because you get all these cool toys. Yeah, never happened.
Well, this is big. When is that happening, by the way, or can you not say?
That's happening April 19th, I want to say.
All right.
Yeah, so the next couple of weeks are a little mental.
Okay.
A little mental.
You've written this, and you did such a great job, and you've poured a lot into it, and as I've said here and on social media, what I love so much about it is it's very honest, it's self-deprecating, it's funny, it's very forthright, like it's really a window into your soul. And there's certain things that I want to ask you about, but I'm just curious, the anxiety of, okay, it's fun to write it, it's fun to have it, people read it, but now like the world is going to tap into this. As of yesterday, right? It came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that stressful? As opposed to an interview that's live, it just happens and you move on. Now it's just like this thing that is coming this date, and now the whole world is going to learn about these things that you haven't talked about before.
I think there's a little bit more pressure in that when you write about something and when you're deliberate with your words. When I talk, sometimes I might not be as deliberate with my words as I want to be. So you might misspeak. But with this, it's harder to misspeak because you've thought about it and it's carefully thought out. And so it really represents me. But here at that time, here's the thing, we're always changing, we're always evolving. So at the time, these are my thoughts, these are my opinions. If you want to debate about it, we can debate about it. But was there an anxiety? I don't think there was much anxiety. I think I was excited because I'm proud of what I wrote and I'm proud of my journey. And I think it's a coming of age story. It's an overcoming the odds story. I think it's my love of wrestling in a story, you know, and all the obstacles and the things that I didn't love about wrestling. Like I didn't talk about it as if it's all perfect and it's wonderful, you know. I give the hard parts of it too, but I was proud of it. I think it's the thing that I've done in my career that I'm most proud of.
The book?
Yeah.
More so than anything?
I think so, yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's all my own words. And it's...
No one helped you?
No.
No ghostwriter?
No ghostwriter. No ghostwriter.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's not
Thanks.
common.
No, me and Mick and Chris and...
Yeah, I mean...
There's a couple.
In wrestling, but I just mean like as far as celebrities, there's always a ghostwriter. It's just not talked about.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, I didn't want one.
Why is that?
Well, because I think that nobody could do it justice in the way that I can. And I tried to ghostwrite it, but it just wasn't for me. I wanted to say my words the way I wanted to say them.
Very impressive. What's harder to write about, like your family stuff, and you talk a lot about your family, or wrestling? Because I feel my perception of you is you really respect the business, and there's certain things like you don't want to break kayfabe, right?
Yeah.
But you do that here. You talk about relationships, you talk about behind-the-scenes stuff. So what was harder for you?
Gosh, I don't know. Maybe a little bit of a combination of both, because you want to do both, right? You want to protect the things that you love. And I want to protect my family, but you also have to be honest about the struggles of your family, because if you're just talking about how great everything is, well, that's not realistic and nobody has that life. So you have to give it your perspective, but also not be unfair to people who cannot defend themselves. I think that's important, because nobody sets out with bad intentions, or very few people set out with bad intentions. Like, I find that is quite rare. So I think you have to find a way to be fair about things. Like I've written about bad creative in this, and you know, there was a lot of bad creative, but it's not like nobody was sitting there going, how do we write the worst creative for Becky Lynch? Nobody was thinking that. They're thinking about other things. And so I try to be fair to that too.
I loved learning about your childhood and, you know, like your sort of rise to prominence. Learning that you were once a flight attendant.
Did you not know that?
I did not know that. Well, I didn't know that your mom was like a legendary flight attendant.
Legendary.
Like 30-something years?
29 years.
29. The way you speak of your mom and write about your mom is amazing. Like the compliments that you give her as a person in and out, really impressive. Like you could see how much she means to you. And then you kind of following in her footsteps. How miserable was that for you? Because it didn't seem like a job that you wanted. But a nice little anecdote in the story, I hope you don't mind me saying, you got to work her last flight.
Yes.
As a flight attendant as well. The photo that you posted is tremendous. It's very heartwarming. I'm sure it meant a lot to her. But for you to do that job while you're trying to find yourself, was it a miserable experience?
It was a little bit miserable. It was miserable. In the beginning, it wasn't. I'm like, God, she beamed. She beamed when she saw me in that uniform, like a pride. Because she wanted me to get out of wrestling so bad. She didn't like it. And I'm like, understandably, like I'm 18, I'm moving across to Canada. I don't know anybody. I'm not good at planning. I don't know what I'm... And she's spent the last 5 years with me just completely going off the rails. And to even allow me to go over to Canada and trust me to do that, you know, that has to be hard. As a mother now, I go, how did she do that? And I always think of, like, when I was a kid, I remember my mom worrying and me being like, stop worrying, Mom. And now I have a child, and I'm like, oh no, I am 20 times worse than my mother. Maybe 100 times worse, you know, and for her to be able to let me go and do that, and then see me coming back, see me fail, see me get injured, and then to finally see me in a secure job, and the job that helped her provide for herself and her 2 kids, a lot of the time by herself, because my dad was frequently unemployed, and they were separated for most of my life. So a lot of the time she'd be the sole breadwinner, and so this job and this lifestyle afforded her so much, and I hated it. I felt so miserable in it. And my dad saw that in me, and I think he had all these dreams, and he felt like he obliged his parents too much to follow their dreams. And so when he saw me do the same, he wanted me to do anything else. And, he already didn't like my mom because they were separated. They had a huge falling out. But so there was that, it was the making my mom proud because I was doing what she loved and what it afforded her a great lifestyle. And not being true to myself and knowing that my dad wanted me to be true to myself and what I wanted to do, but also I didn't know what it was because I felt like I couldn't wrestle anymore. I felt like I'd burned those bridges.
Why'd you burn those bridges?
Well,
why did you feel that way?
Because when I got hurt, which I got a concussion, I got a bunch of stitches in my eye, but really I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I was 19 years old, and I was about to move over to America to do a personal training diploma, and in Orlando. And my goal was maybe I can get into TNA because the way that they were treating women there was so much better than the way that they were treating women in WWE. So it's like I can make a splash there. But when I got hurt, and then I felt like I was just all over the place. I'd done this bodybuilding competition. My hormones were all out of whack. I was just depressed. I was anxious. I was all over the place. And I was just lost. I was lost. And I didn't have anyone to guide me. I didn't have any guidance. Who was going to guide me? My mom didn't know anything about wrestling. My dad didn't know anything about wrestling. I didn't have any role models that were able to take me under their wing and be like, oh, it's all going to be okay, hon. Because I didn't know. And so I left wrestling for 7 years. How did I get into that?
Well,
I went on a long tangent there.
No, this is great. This is about the journey.
This is the tiredness.
Yes.
This is when I start talking, then I'm like, wait, what was I talking about?
When you were trying to find yourself, when you were feeling depressed, you said the word depressed. Did you ever, you don't mention this, correct me if I'm wrong in the book, did you speak to someone? Did you ever talk to a therapist?
I did mention that in the book, actually.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, well, not a therapist, like guidance counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a guidance counselor.
How old were you when you did that?
21.
Okay.
I think 21. And it was when I was working as a flight attendant, and I was like, well, I loved wrestling, but I feel like I can't do wrestling. And she was like, okay, yeah, no, you can't do that. Let's look at business. and I was like, oh, okay, business. I'll do business. But the idea of sitting in college learning about business for 4 years just sounded like a prison sentence.
Right.
I did not want to do business. And they give you all these tests, like the what are you suitable for? Do you like to arrange your closet? Like, these things that don't really tell you anything about yourself, but allegedly tell you everything about yourself. And it just was a terrible fit. So I didn't see anybody like a proper counselor in that time. But also that was expensive, and
Right. You didn't
it's cheap.
Right.
Cheap and poor.
It's almost like, as you put it, as the kids say, cringe. Sometimes to read some of your tales of your love life, because it's like, Becky, just go for it, or don't go. Like, and you're like taking us on the journey. And I'm just wondering if some of your apprehension.
Oh, it's cringe, is it?
Well, you said that. You said that some of this. Well, it was just like you're doubting yourself. You go this. I'm just wondering if your parents' history is why you were the way you were.
Oh.
If you saw that as a kid and didn't want to commit, or didn't feel like you had it in you, or didn't maybe want to recreate that. Do you think any of that had that kind of effect on you?
I think I thought that maybe at the time, but I think having met my husband and having not had a fear of commitment when I met him, and like as in once we decided that was it, then that was it.
It is quite a journey you take us on with your husband.
But it's a short, to be fair, like I write about it, but it all happened over the period of 2 weeks.
Fair enough, okay.
You know what I mean? Like it was a 2-week period, maybe 3 at a stretch.
Okay.
But like the flirting, I suppose, happened a little bit earlier. So it's a fun little journey. One of my favorite parts of the book. But do I think I just think I wasn't with the right people. Like I hadn't met the right people, and I grew up being teased about being ugly and overweight, and so I think that was the image I always had of myself. And so any male attention I got, I was like, oh, great. Oh, great, you know?
Just go for it.
Yeah.
No problem. You know, we hear a lot about The Rock's $7.
Yeah.
You had $35.
Yeah.
Don't hear about that as much.
It's not as catchy, I suppose.
It's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Maybe your production company. That's
with inflation, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
5 times. Yeah.
I can't imagine what that is like to look at your bank account and have that as you're about to embark on it. Right, you're at the airport.
Oh, I smiled. Yeah, I laughed.
smiled.
I was like, oh, this is great.
Why is that
What
great?
an adventure! You've got nothing to lose.
That doesn't give you a panic attack at the time.
No, you've got nothing to lose.
True, but how do you support yourself?
I figured that out.
Okay.
Figure that out. You know what I mean? You can always get a job. You know, I had a little job, but yeah, I worked at a health food store actually, but they spent the time selling me supplements and making it sound so appealing that I spent all of my money on supplements.
Oh,
so I was
gosh.
really just working there to support my supplement habit, and yeah, so I had no money in my bank account, and yeah, so it was just exciting. It was like, well, I was about to go have a WWE tryout, which I thought I'd burnt that bridge.
Right.
I thought that was gone. I thought that dream was dead, that I was never going to get it back again. And now I was about to go and take a chance and make it happen. And I had a belief in myself because of everything that I had done all the way to get to that point. And then I only had $35 or €35 in my bank account. I was like, this is great. What a story this will make in my biography one day.
Yeah. There it is, available now. Incredible. So right now, like this book coming out at this point in your career, you still have hopefully many years left. Why did you feel like this was the right time? This is the thing I'm always curious about when a celebrity comes out with a book in the midst of their career as opposed to the end. Why did you feel like this was the right time to do it?
They offered me a book deal.
Perfect. Okay. That was it.
I got to work. Well, I'd always wanted to write a biography.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to write a biography, front of my mind. My dad was always encouraging me to write. Then Mick Foley was my hero. Mick wrote his book, so I was like, it was front of my mind goals, you know? Main event WrestleMania, write my biography, be an action figure. So it was all of these things that were top of the list goals. And so once they offered me a book deal, I was like, oh yeah. So that's what. And then eventually they gave me a deadline. And so here we are.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was it harder than you thought?
Couldn't push the deadline anymore. Gosh, was it harder than I thought? I mean, I did a year-long writing course
That's interesting too. Most people don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to be good. But I also like learning stuff.
You did that in the midst of being an active pro wrestler.
Yeah. And a mother.
And a mother.
And a mother.
wife.
Yeah, I did. It was Tuesday nights for like, what was it, like 4.5 hours or something.
4.5 hours every Tuesday night?
That was including writing time.
Okay. Jeez.
So I would do that. And I didn't always make all of it. Like, I wouldn't always make the whole writing time. But maybe it was 3.5, I can't remember. Anyway, the point is I learned so many skills that applied to writing this book, and then it helped me write a better book. And then I wrote a good book.
Okay, so you.
But then there's that reward of like, I did it by myself, and I learned how to do it well.
Yeah.
I hope.
No, it's really
decide.
tremendous, and it does remind me a lot of the Mick Foley book in that it's very honest, open, self-deprecating like him. Like I could see some of that influence. I'm wondering if he has written. I think he wrote.
He helped me.
He helped you.
He helped me. Yeah.
In what regard?
In that I gave it to him to read.
Wow.
And then he went, I think we had a 6-hour phone conversation.
Come on.
And he like went through it with like little different things he would suggest. And he was just encouraging me that I had a good writing voice more than anything, because I was going, maybe this sucks and blah, blah. And like this version is far different than the one that I gave him. This version is far better. But he was so encouraging and yeah, went through and
What is that like to
helped
go
me.
through that with him? Like,
Amazing.
Imagine like 16, 17-year-old Becky is sitting down with Mick Foley on the phone and he's telling you about your book.
I mean, my singular goal when I started watching wrestling was to get a hug from Mick Foley.
Gosh.
You know what I mean? And to have him help me in writing my life story is amazing. Even I'm just like looking at the back like Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley. You know, it's wild. It's been a wild journey, and I feel so very lucky for the life that wrestling has given me, man. And I go like, what if Mick Foley never captivated me? Then I wouldn't have had this life. I wouldn't have met my husband. I wouldn't have my daughter. I'm very lucky.
Yes, you are.
I'm a lucky lady.
What kind of blows me away is you are the man. You're very strong on character, but you know, on in your character on TV. But it does seem like you do battle, like you use the word imposter syndrome. I battle this all the time. Why am I here? Why should I be here? Am I good enough to be here? I feel like I'm playing the role of a host. You know what I mean? And so it's wild to see someone who is like that on TV. You talk about this a lot, doubting yourself, questioning yourself. How do you get over this to someone who feels this way? What do you do? Do you just have to keep forging on? What are the tricks of the trade?
What do you do?
I just kind of...
You do it.
Yeah, just keep forging on.
You just do it. You know, that's the trick. That's the secret. I think nearly everybody feels like that. We all do. To a certain degree, there ain't nobody going out there just being like, oh, I am so great. I am so great all the time. Look at me be great. Maybe they want to give that impression, but that's not what's really going on. And especially in the entertainment industry, oh my goodness, everybody's so insecure and they have such egos. And egos are just another form of insecurity. And so I wanted to be open about that because I think you look at people that are doing things and you're like, oh, they've got it all sorted out. But they don't. But the trick is to just do it anyway and to just get on with it, you know? You just have to get on with it because you don't gain confidence by thinking about it. You gain confidence by being about it and by doing it. And I think it's just a trial and error thing. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't work. And then you fail and you find out that, well, nothing really happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. Let me try again. And then you try again and you succeed. You're like, oh, I can do this. And it's just constant.
Are wrestlers, to a degree, extremely insecure, if only because it's not a meritocracy, if only because your fate is in other people's hands? Like, you could do the best work, but if someone doesn't like you, if there's politics or you didn't shake someone's hand in the back or say, you know what I mean? So do you feel like that for someone who is maybe already somewhat insecure, it just becomes worse because of the environment, just the nature of the business?
I mean, because it's a little bit of a meritocracy.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're great, for the most part, that'll eventually come through, you know, because the audience picks up on it. And then there's the navigational things. Like, you have to learn to play the game a little bit. And there's little tricks and tips and things that you can do to succeed. And there's always things. And maybe that's just me. Like, I do hate putting it all on somebody else. And maybe that's a weird control thing. But and maybe you see this is like the self-deprecation, but I'm always like, well, what can I do? What can I do to make sure that they can't ignore me? What can I do to ensure that there's no way that I can be overlooked? And I've often felt like I'm doing everything, but it eventually has worked out for me. And I'm not saying that that's everybody's experience, and I don't want to be ignorant in that too, but you know, I was very average, but got to do some not so average things. And so that's how I kind of have always approached things, is instead of always blaming the creative or whatever it is. Like, when I wasn't on TV, I was always doing promos on digital, or always putting up stupid little videos on social media that I thought were hilarious, you know. And it worked. I got an audience from that, and like, people saw me and they liked me, and they kind of came with me on that journey. And I think little things like that can help, you know. So if you're not being booked, if you're sitting around catering, all right, well, what can I do? What can I do? And sometimes those breaks don't happen, and that's not great. But I do think you have to, as much as possible, put the onus on you. How can I get better? How can I get everybody's attention? How do I think about this differently? So in a way, I think it can be a meritocracy. And then, of course, then there's, then there's the people that are plugged in to be superstars. But here's the thing. They're usually all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, look at Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is on top. Like, would he be on the top if... He'd probably be pretty damn close, you know what I mean? Because he's good. He's good, and he thinks about wrestling, and he thinks about being a superstar, and he's good, and he delivers, And so, so there's people, and look at Rhea Ripley, right? You look at Rhea Ripley and you go, oh, that's a star. Let's push her to the moon. She's also good, And so you can't say that these people don't deserve to be there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair pushed to the moon. She was also good,
The creative right now, the product right now is on fire. I think it's incredibly entertaining and riveting, especially at the top with what's going on at the top. Like I said earlier, never thought I'd see this version of The Rock again, right? Like the 1998 Hollywood Rock with the Versace and all that. It's so much fun to see this version of him. Not that the other version wasn't entertaining, but like the kiss the baby, it's fun to see the heel version of him, if you know what I'm saying. How do you feel about how this is all playing out? Because it doesn't seem, at least from our vantage point here, we don't know that this was the initial plan, but how it's all turned out has been incredible, I think.
That's great. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. That's fantastic.
Are you enjoying it?
I mean, I have a husband on the back end.
Sure.
That's
Involved?
going to main event WrestleMania, And it's going to be a huge match where it's going to be him versus Roman, which could be the main event of any show. Him and Cody versus Roman and The Rock. And you talk about The Rock. The Rock is one of the biggest stars in the world. Roman and what do we call him on here?
So that's
it's always so weird.
No,
for
you
me
know
to
what's
call
great?
him Seth.
It's actually, I think for this particular show, it's better because I'm sorry if I say this and it offends, but like I think in this world, MMA, Colby, they think of Colby Covington.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, not married to him.
I
Absolutely
think your
not.
husband is the complete antithesis of Colby Covington in many respects. So maybe for these purposes,
Seth.
if there are sound bites and whatnot, people don't get confused.
So you got Seth and Cody, or Seth and Roman, who have so much history, and then Cody finishing the story. So I love that.
Yeah. I had Bianca Belair and Montez Ford here a few months ago, and I asked them about, you're a couple, but you're both in the same industry, and sometimes one person is up here and the other person is here and trying to get here. And I was wondering if there was ever, some friction or animosity because you're both wanting to succeed, but you're also happy for each other as partners. And in the book, you talk about when you got the call to main event WrestleMania 35 and you felt like Seth wasn't happy for you or didn't say congratulations, and that hurt your feelings. Is this something that, because of that one thing that you addressed, hasn't come up again, or is it something that you always have to be cognizant of? Like maybe he's on top and you're kind of struggling with a storyline, or vice versa. How do you guys overcome that as a couple, but also in the same industry?
Yeah, in wrestling, I don't think it hasn't. I don't think it hasn't really come up in terms of positioning.
Okay.
After that, yeah. Like after that first year, I think we figured it out, and it'd been pretty great in terms of just supporting each other. And one time somebody is doing better than the other, but to be fair, for the last 3 years, we've both been doing pretty great.
No, you have.
Yeah.
But is it ever a worry that there will be competition?
Nah. No, not anymore.
You got that out of the way.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, never say never.
Right.
You don't know what will come around the corner, but yeah, no, I don't think so.
Would you prefer not to be an on-air couple?
The first go around was rough. That was rough, for everybody involved, the audience included. God, what were they doing? Yeah. Anyway, it was a different time. Now now, I mean, I wouldn't mind working with him, but I think, as in, I would like to work with him. I would love to work with him. He's a genius, and going to go down as probably the greatest wrestler to ever do it. In my opinion, he's got a mind like nobody's business. And I think if you're not in it and if you're not around him all the time, maybe you don't understand that or you don't see that. But I think anybody who's ever worked with him, he's top of the list. He's so great. And so being around that is always going to help you improve. As long as they just don't beat it to death. The real life married couple, which is what they did before. The real life relationship. Oh my goodness. Shut up. We can fight side by side. We can be two badasses, but we don't need to be all mushy and lovey-dovey. But the big time Beck's character and Seth freaking Rollins, I think that those two would go together like a couple of psychopaths, you know.
Is there a massive, it's been almost a year since the Endeavor deal was announced. Obviously in September it became a thing, but is there a big difference in terms of like how the company is run now that Endeavor is involved? Do you feel a difference?
Yes. I think so, yeah. Yeah, I had to kind of think about that because there was other things that happened that made the company a little bit different.
Sure, I will ask about that in a moment, but I'm just talking about like Endeavor.
The Endeavor part, I mean, there's a lot more shows abroad and so that aspect of it, the business aspect of it, Netflix deal, $5 billion. But that doesn't affect the creative side.
Okay.
How Endeavor are involved, that's the business side of things. That doesn't affect the creative side of things.
Okay. In the book, you speak quite glowingly of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was big for your career, and you had ups and downs with him. The day after you won the belt, he got mad at you. You cleared it up. It seems like you really held him in high regard. Obviously, a lot has happened since. And so when you hear about this, how do you feel? And now, a month or so later, maybe 2 months later, after hearing about this lawsuit, how do you internalize it? How do you digest it?
So those allegations are horrible, man, and it's so hard to listen to because that's not my experience. He was so good to me, and Vince had a genius about him, and he was not the easiest to work with. But he had also lived an extremely interesting life in terms of what he built. And so I like learning from him. I like talking to him. He is responsible for all of the things in my life by building WWE. And for the most part, we've had some ups and downs, but he was always good to me as a person, and always treated me with respect. And I felt like I had earned a lot of respect from him, and he gave me a lot of respect. And then you're hearing this other side, which is not the person that I know. And that's really hard. That's really hard, especially when you're a woman in this business, and you're a woman who has been trying to push things to be equal. But look, that's the other part of it, right? Like, it's not, there's not a third party that was making things unequal. You know what I mean? And so that's the other side of things. And that was the kind of things that I think I write about in the book, was kind of a little bit eye-rolly, you know, in that, like, here's a women's evolution, here's a women's revolution. Who are you freeing us from? You?
Right.
You know? And so in that, like, a lot of that felt very condescending in some regards. And so it's very hard to hear about these things because I didn't experience them. And I hate that anybody experienced that in general, but especially somebody that has been very kind to me. in my life and my career, and that's kind of going all over the place. I suppose it's my therapy, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure it's a hard thing to come to terms with, because you did have that relationship, and then you read about this, and it's shocking, disgusting,
yes,
appalling.
Yeah.
All those words.
Yeah, all of those things.
Right.
All of those things, and it's like two different people.
Okay.
She's like a grandfather, you know. Like I remember telling him that I was pregnant and how good he was to me and how happy he was for me. And you think of that kindness that you felt, and then you have to hear about this other side, and it's horrible. That's horrible.
Ronda has a book coming up.
It's horrible to put those two people together.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and make sense of it all. Ronda has had some pretty negative things to say about her time now. Did you know about this, or are you surprised to hear her write these things and say these things now with her book coming
things?
out?
So here's the thing, because I like to say I've not read the book.
Okay.
So anything that I'm hearing, I'm taking it, like it's hearing it out of context. So you don't know what's like a headline grab and what gets more contextualized if you read the book. So anyway, what are we talking about?
Well, specifically, there was a tweet where she said that he still has, as long as Bruce Pritchard is around, he still has some impact. He's just a text away, right? So he's not fully gone. She said that. And then she talked about the concussions and...
that she had?
Yeah, the concussions that she had, and maybe not... feeling, I think, I haven't read the book as well, but I've seen her interview with her sister. She did an interview with her sister promoting it, and not feeling like she was maybe put in the best spot. She just seems like she has a lot of animosity towards her time, which I thought was a positive experience coming off her UFC run. And so my main question is, are you surprised to hear that there is some negativity with regards to her experience in WWE? Because for the most part, I know it ended, or has ended for now. Mm-hmm. It seems like there's a lot of negativity.
Yeah. Am I surprised by that?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm surprised, no.
Okay.
No. No, I'm not surprised. That was her experience, and that's what she's writing about. But in terms of like the concussions, like, was she saying that, like, did WWE know about them, or was she saying?
Well, so I haven't read the book either.
Okay.
So I'm just, again, I'm reading the same stuff and seeing the same stuff. So I would like to read it. Her first book was good.
Yeah. Like, look, I've had a very different, I have a very different view and a very different experience of WWE. But I always wanted to do this. This is what I always wanted to do. I love this. I love this. And is it perfect? No, nothing is. Nothing is. I've worked in little delis that you're like, how does this place operate? The size of WWE and the amount of talent and people that go into making it go live on TV for however, like 5 hours a week when you're just talking about Raw and SmackDown. And then you've got pay-per-views, and then you've got NXT. So there's so many people that go behind that. And so you're going to be dealing with a lot of people. And so you're going to have some negative experiences. But this is my dream. I've always wanted it to be good. I've always looked at myself. How can I be better? How can I make the division better? And I've always worked to make it better. And stuff like the creative, no, it's not always great. And there's been a history of it not making sense to me. But nobody, like I said, nobody's purposely going, how do we make Becky Lynch look awful? But they have so much going on. There is so much going on. And the fact that we pull everything off the way that we do, and even at a time when, notoriously, the shows were getting rewritten as we were going on live on TV. And we still got them done. We still went out there. We still hit our times, and we still made the show work. And no, it was not always great, but a lot of it was, we're all doing the best we can. Nobody wants to go out there and do bad work or make anybody look bad. I don't think anybody is like, how do I make this person look bad? Unless they're supposed to be a heel, and in terms you're only trying to make them look bad. But they're all like, if we do good, the company does good. So I don't think anybody is trying to make anybody fail. And I suppose that is my point. Nobody's like trying to make anybody fail. And I think when you love this, you look to try and make it better. How can I make this better? But she was coming from a different industry. She was a star, and she should have been handled differently in terms of, I think she had such a great first outing that everybody thought, oh, she can wrestle. And I mean this with respect, but she couldn't wrestle. Like, what we do isn't something that you can just have one good match and then, okay, yeah, no, I'm off to the races. It's a craft, and you have to learn your craft, and you have to be diligent about learning your craft. But everybody treated Ronda like she already knew it, because when she first came in, she was good in that first bout, but she was also working with Kurt Angle, she was working with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. It was a well-rehearsed match, you know, because everybody wanted her to succeed. And then it was like, okay, she can do this off to the races, and that was mishandling her, because she was, you know, a star in her own right, and she had done so much for MMA, and so in terms of that and booking, that wasn't done well. But my experience coming from nobody thinking that I was going to be worth anything and making myself very valuable to the company and very valuable to wrestling in general, it's because I loved it, you know? Because I loved it and I sought out to do it. And she came in and I think she found a place that she enjoyed, she liked, but she never like sought to do it from a young age. And I think that changes the experience that you have when you go into a place, if that makes sense.
It does.
That was a very long
answer. Great, and I appreciate it.
Is the time
No,
up
no,
now?
we're good. We're almost done. We're almost done, I promise. Are you surprised Punk came back?
Yeah, I was very surprised.
Where were you when you came back? Did you have...
I was in Gorilla.
Okay, so you saw him. Did you know he was there?
No.
You just saw him appear?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did you say anything to him? Or was there no time?
There was a fist pound. You
see this guy who 10 years had not been in the company. We thought he would never come back. Hell freezes over, and it's just like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then my husband was going crazy by the ring.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Can I ask?
And then everybody's you have producers on headset going, Seth's freaking out, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a rough night.
Is that disrespectful?
What?
That he didn't know. Should he have been given a heads up? He's not going to leak it.
No.
So why not give him a heads up?
I believe the deal happened very late. As far as I know, I believe the deal happened very late. And I believe that... I believe the deal happened very late. Sometimes the tiredness hits.
No.
So
we're almost there.
But anyway, so the deal happened late, and then he had a match. He was working on his match all day, you know, so... I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know what happens there.
What a business.
But he felt disrespected. But like I said, like we think of ourselves, right? We are the universe, right? Everybody is.
Sure.
We are the universe. But nobody's going, I want to disrespect him. So we may feel disrespected, but nobody's intentionally going, let me disrespect this person. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So consideration, you know, should of course that should have been taken into account. You should have told your top stars, of course. But like I said, nobody's going out there going, how do I disrespect my top star? You know, my world champion.
Right.
How do I disrespect him? Nobody's thinking that.
Is this the final year of your contract?
Final 2 months.
Final 2 months. This is fun. I like this. And
if you wanted me to be honest.
Yes, you do love honesty. And any talks of a renewal?
Nobody said nothing to me.
Are you interested in renewing?
We'll see.
What do you mean we'll see?
Oh, we'll see.
What happens after 2 months if you don't have a deal? Can you talk to others?
I'm WWE.
Okay, so it's either WWE or bust.
Yeah, just don't know.
Is there a chance this is your last WrestleMania?
I doubt that. I doubt that. I doubt that.
Is this common that it would be 2 months out and no deal? Maybe that's the difference between the Endeavor era and this
Yeah.
old era. Interesting. Are you nervous about this? Are you anxious about it? Do you feel disrespected that there isn't a new deal in front of you?
At this stage in the game, contrary to a lot of the thoughts in this book of where I was coming up, I am so confident in my ability and my worth. Nah, I'm not worried.
Okay. Do you think this gets settled before Mania?
I don't know. There's a lot coming up before Mania.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming up before Mania. I just gave you my schedule for the next month.
Sure.
I don't know when I'm going to get to play a zombie again, you know, for my 3-year-old. So I don't know.
Okay. Speaking of your 3-year-old, the great Rue.
Yeah.
She was mentioned on Monday by Rhea Ripley, and that led to a tremendous punch on your part. I think we even have the punch. I was very impressed with the technique, the way you hit. I mean, it was.
This is the MMA hour.
This is the MMA hour.
Yeah.
It was legit.
Couple of months. This is what I'm talking about. TKO, we're all under the same umbrella.
Is that?
I think I'm tough.
No,
I'm tough.
You are tough. I've seen you.
I'm tough.
You've done some crazy things.
Yeah, I can take a lot.
Is that too far?
Her mentioning my daughter?
Yeah. Is that too much?
Saying my daughter is going to call her mommy? Way too far.
Even just saying her name, I would imagine.
Saying you can say my daughter, but you can't talk about her in that way. You can't talk about her in that way. Because the thing that I am most proud of is my daughter, and I know it's the thing that my father would be most proud of me for is being the mother that I have become, and so that line wasn't like a line that you can just throw out and think that's going to be a zinger, because that's not a zinger, and that's not funny to me. You can talk about how great my daughter is if you want to say that, but you can't talk about that. You can't talk about taking my child. You can't talk about her. You can't go there.
Your feelings on Rhea at the moment, very popular, right?
She's very popular.
I see now she's doing the...
Yeah, she's very popular. She likes to talk about why she's so popular, you know?
She's doing the stink face. People are sometimes offering up their services for that. I saw that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all this? Second coming of China, people say. Most dominant women's wrestler since China. A lot of accolades being thrown her way. Sure. Deserved?
She's very good. She's got a finesse, a natural ability in the ring. Look, I have always tried to get by on my merit, and I came from a different time where I was trying to change things like women doing stink faces and that being the thing that people talked about. And maybe it's a different time. Maybe when we're the main event and we're taken seriously, that people can do that and it's just fun and whatever. But I came from trying to stop us being relegated to people just viewing us on how we looked. It was how we talked, it was the stories that we told, how we think and what we do in the ring. And to me, that is fighting constantly. So when you go out there and you say, well, I can just post a photo and people will go crazy, or I can just post a video of my ass and people will go crazy, well, then that just feels like we're kind of going back. And I worry about that, because if that's what people see, and that's what people see as your champion, oh, that's the women's champion. Oh, what do I think of when I think of the women's champion? Oh, I think of her ass. Then we're just going back and we're making an ass of our business.
Is she overhyped?
I think she has amazing potential. I think she is incredible in the ring. She has this amazing look. She is a star. She is a star in the way that you look at Roman Reigns and go, that is a top star. But when you go to relying on that and saying that that is what you want to put forth, maybe it's just because that was what I was trying to fight against. I was trying to fight against being relegated to how we just look, So when you're saying that that is all that you need to do to get ahead, and you're admitting that, and you're owning that, and you're saying it publicly in a promo, then I just go, ugh, gross, disgusting. I don't care about how you look. I care about what you can do. And she can do a lot. She can do a lot. Do not rely on that. Don't become that. But I don't know, maybe it's just a different time. Maybe I'm the turtleneck wearing feminist, you know? I don't know. You tell me, am I? You tell me.
I don't think you are.
You tell me. Let's debate about this.
I mean,
let's debate about this. Yeah. Because when I was watching women's wrestling and I was seeing mud wrestling matches and bikini matches, I was like, that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. I want to be like Stone Cold. I want to be like The Rock. I want to be like Mick Foley. I want to be taken seriously. You know?
And you're afraid that this is going to take things back to those days?
I don't know.
Maybe the fame is getting to her head. Maybe she feels the comments on Instagram, people fawning.
Everybody's fawning.
Yeah.
Everybody's fawning. Of course they're going to fawn. She's a hot chick rubbing her ass in somebody else's face. Does that take away from what we do?
I was looking down when you were talking, so I apologize.
Her whole bare ass.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot.
There's a lot of ass. To be fair, though, mine hangs a little bit on my ear, so I can't talk about that. But
they're telling
not rubbing
me,
it in anyone's face.
My guys here on my Slack channel here, do you know what Slack is?
No.
It's just a way to communicate on a computer. You wouldn't have to do that as an athlete. People sitting behind
technology in general. Just, oof, that was the hardest part of the book.
Writing.
Technology.
Yeah. Anyways, they were telling me that we're live right now, and she was watching the interview, and she wanted to call in. I don't like doing those things because out of respect to you, I don't like someone like, kind of crashing the interview. So they said that she sent in a video in response to some of the things you said, like just a few minutes ago. They could load it up, or we cannot play it. Would you want them to load it up, or would you rather her not steal the shine?
This is what I'm talking about, though, at Rhea. She's just looking for attention. Like, that was her whole promo. Give me more attention. She's just... So
this is your moment, she's trying to...
How much more attention do you need? Why don't you try wrestle for attention? Anyway, what's she looking for? Let's give her some more attention.
Right.
You know?
She hasn't been wrestling lately, right? She has something on her arm?
Oh, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe that's her Roman Reigns glove, you know?
Anyways, guys, you can load it up because we just have a couple minutes left here, and we'll play it in a moment. They'll load it up in a minute, and then we can get your response to it, whatever it is. They just told me that they have a video from her. So WrestleMania 40 is not this weekend, next. Do you know if you're night 1 or night 2 yet?
I think night 1.
Okay.
I think night 1.
All right.
I've only been night 1 on the 2-night boys.
Oh, wow.
I like the night 1.
Why is that? So then you can enjoy night 2?
Yes, there's an extra element of excitement from the crowd, you know?
Yes.
You know? Like night 2 of anything, I mean, look, it's WrestleMania, it's huge. But they've seen the stage and everything like that, you know what I mean? But the first night, it's that level of excitement. The first time they see the stage, the first time they're seeing everybody, you know? And maybe people their voices may be a little bit tired from night 2, but I haven't wrestled on night 2, so I can't tell.
Okay, yeah. No, I like night 1 better. I like it's Saturday night. I like Saturday.
Saturday night. Nobody's worried about school the next morning.
Exactly, yeah, that's a big concern. Anyway, okay, here's the video. Here's Rhea Ripley responding to stuff that Becky has said on this program.
Hey, I've been listening to Becky, and if you want to talk to a real champion, then I'll be in New York on Monday if you want to talk to a real champion.
Okay.
I didn't hear what she said.
Could
you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
She said that she is the real star and that she's been listening to your nonsense, and that if we want her to come on the program on Monday to talk to the real star, the real queen, the real champion, she'd be happy to come because you guys are in Brooklyn on Monday, right?
Yeah, we are.
I've never had her on the show. I'm interested, but I feel a kinship towards you and allegiance. How do you feel about her coming on the show on Monday?
I mean, it's your show, man. You don't have to ask me for permission.
I feel like I'm somewhat,
Oh, thanks, man.
Team
I
Bex,
appreciate
you
that.
know,
I appreciate
good
that.
crack.
Yeah,
the crack is 90.
we have
know?
the banter.
Yeah.
We have the banter.
bands, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, give her the attention. Well,
I don't want to be like everyone else fawning. You know, I don't want to be that guy.
well, you don't if you but if you want to give the attention, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
A big attention whore.
All right, fine.
Can I say that word?
Yeah,
We can say we can say that.
this is the internet. Last thing.
Oh,
for you.
okay, yeah. It's morning. No, wait, is it?
You could say F that.
Afternoon. Okay.
You know. Thank you again for coming on.
Standards and practices.
Well, soon, no more, right? On Netflix, you can say whatever you want.
Oh, really?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Still,
No one's
still
told
a
me
PG,
that.
Still
Yeah.
a PG product.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I got a daughter.
That is true.
3-year-old, she'll be
The
more
book is
cute.
fantastic. It's out now wherever you get your books. You're going to Ridgewood, New Jersey.
I am.
For a signing from here.
Yep.
Which is tremendous. My final question to you is, and I really do, I'm not just saying it because you're here, it's really fantastic and you should be really proud. And as I said to you privately, honored to know you. And you know what? I just wanted to say before I ask you my final question, I'll never forget this. I was backstage at Elimination Chamber last year in Montreal. I don't know if you remember. And it was a whole hullabaloo and a thing. And
I was sitting and watching. Yeah.
yeah. And so on the Friday there was a whole hullabaloo, and then with like Tony Khan and all that stuff. And then I came back on the Saturday, and I was feeling like I didn't know, like you don't know like where to put your hands, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know what to say, where to look. Paul Heyman in particular like really took me under his wing. But I was in the catering and I was standing around and I kind of like found the broadcasters.
Yes.
And you came up and talked to us. It was me, Kevin, and Peter Rosenberg.
Yep.
And you stood and talked to us for like 45 minutes, like as one of the biggest stars. And I remember thinking like, you didn't do it for any other reason because I think you just wanted to talk. But I just remember
we were having great chats.
We were having great chats about Joe Duffy and whatnot. And it calmed me because I was very nervous being back there because I felt like an outsider.
Oh.
And I felt like you just talking to me, to us, was like, okay, I'm just a part of the team. This was great. And I really appreciate that. And I don't know if you did it on purpose or not. I don't think you did.
I didn't know that you were.
Yeah.
I didn't know that anything was going on.
I just felt like, who do I talk to? Who do I
always
look
like
at?
the chats.
So I appreciate that. So thank you. I never said it to you, so thank you very much. I really appreciated that. One of the last things that your grandmother said to you before she passed away was, I hope you live out all your dreams, right?
Hope all your dreams come true.
I hope all your dreams come true. I apologize. Do you feel like they have all come true?
Oh my God. Well beyond. Well beyond. I mean, there's still a few more dreams. I just keep dreaming up new ones, you know? We'll see when the New York Times bestseller comes out.
Yes.
We'll see how they're doing. But yeah, no, I'm so lucky. I am so lucky. Very grateful.
Well done.
And I love what I do. And I have a great family. I'm a great little baby.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It rocks. And I've got a book that I'm really proud of.
You should be. It's out right now. Get it wherever you can get your books. It is called The Man, Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn, Not Your Average Girl. And it's really a great read. And dare I say, a great read, even if you aren't a pro wrestling fan. Just about like finding yourself, dreams coming true, taking a chance, the ups and downs of life. It really has nothing to do with pro wrestling in many respects. Obviously, it's more fun if you're a wrestling fan because you know the characters. But even a couple of times, I'm like, who's Fergal? Oh, yeah. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just a whole different world.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. It's like a coming of age story.
Yeah. Even spent some time in
Story
New
of
York
hope.
as a bartender. I mean,
Yeah.
so many great things. So well done. Congrats. And good luck, WrestleMania 40. And I'll send Rhea your regards on Monday when she's in studio as well.
me too.
But Team Bex. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel. So please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.